Hello racing fans, Racing 393 out of sync. Well, not really out of sync. I didn't put the microphone on when I was talking. But anyway, we're on to another video. It's my TT01E speed run video. But before we get into that, let's quickly look at what I did before. So I'm about to put on here a clip from a few years ago now of my TT01E. There's no sound, it didn't capture it off the computer. So I didn't have much knowledge doing this. Did a couple of runs. Car wasn't stable. Pretty much it's the same chassis, but with plastic parts on it, not with the hop up, the metal racing. Different body shell, as you can see. But yeah, so that was that. So moving on to the video in today, we re-look at my TT01E. But I've done a lot of work on this car, and there are videos on my channel. If you search, just put into my search bar TT01E, it will come up, and it's already got various videos of me upgrading certain aspects. But you didn't see this body shell. This is the Sierra 4x4. Now I've got a feeling that was that the rally car, was it the touring car. So I've always tried to keep the body shells in keeping with what the car is. A four-wheel drive. You can see my racing stuff there. The body shell would come with a four-wheel drive system, and the only car that had that was the Sierra 4x4. The Cosworth, as far as I'm aware, was two-wheel drive. In touring cars, it was rear-wheel drive. So this was based on the rally car, even though it's got sponge or foam tyres on there. I'm just pointing out there that we're going to put a wing on it. So this part of the video, unfortunately, you can't hear everything I'm saying, which is probably a good thing. It's quite a big body shell. It's like a saloon, and I quite like that. I like that shaped Sierra in real life and in model form. But we're going to hop over to the shed. We'll have a closer look of what we got, and we'll do some work on this great chassis. Right, welcome to a cold shed. Well, say that, 7 degrees, 99% humidity. Again, heater's not working. Camera's, well, it is working. The other camera's not on, so you can't hear any annoying beeping in the background. But we're here with an old faithful. So that's the TT01E, which has been hopped up. It's been on my channel ages ago. It's got lots of I don't know what that is. I think it's, I'm trying to think what I bought now. Is it Racing? Yeah. So it's Racing hop-ups. So we'll switch to the other camera in a minute where you can probably see this a bit easier. But what I am planning on doing is maybe turning the tyres down. I mean, they've been stood forever, and I want to lower the body shell a little bit and fit a rear wing. Lowering the body shell is not going to be straightforward by what I've got on there. It is fairly sturdy, but you'll see when I'm showing the other camera, when it sits on the ground, these wheels, they just sit a bit too high. Suspension's fine, it's not going to hit these arches. There's not a lot of movement anyway. I just could do with the wheels being just tucked up a little bit. Now I could run softer springs and what have you, and thinner, damper oil, but it works quite well what I've got. So I just want to lower the body shell and put a rear spoiler on it, just because it came with one, but I don't know what I did with it. And yeah, I mean, the motor in there, I can't remember what motor I've got. It is a brushed motor and a 1060 hobby wing, and I've always had problems running this on a lipo. I never thought I had the performance from a lipo like I should have done, like a 2S. So we'll perhaps need to look into that, because this was my first and probably most successful speedrun car, to be honest. I think it's even got a gyro. I can't remember what it's got in it.
if it's a radio link or fly sky. Don't know. Let's have a look. So I'm going to swap cameras. It's a bit clearer on the other one, and we'll have a little bit of a closer look. There you go. It's a bit of a better look at it. I'll take the shell off just so that I can quickly update you on what I've done inside. I mean, there'll be a link on this video with when I first had this out. Now I did have an RS200 body shell on it, so that comes off quite easily. You know, there's nothing unusual about it. It's even got a, I've got a trim in the back. It's even got like an exhaust on the back of it, which is quite neat. It's not quite on there properly, but it'll do. And here's sort of the inside. It's actually a radio link. So these, the only problem is the 20 kilogram servos in there. Those Chinese ones are really cheap and crap. They tend to just stop working. And I had to sort of, the fronts I can get lower, but I'm not sure about the back. I need to sort of figure something out, because it's like a fixed, it's non-adjustable with this lip on it, unless I cut these off. I think this blue thing goes up inside, so I'd have to trim that off so I can get these lower. I only want to go down a little bit, because it's probably, you'd probably find even the next hole down will be enough. It's been a while since I've seen this. Yeah, it's got all the hop-ups you could wish on this, one-way diff and everything in it. So anyway, let me figure out something on here, the back, and then I'll it's so cold in here. It's 8 degrees, 99% humidity. Got no room to put any more cars either, which is frightening. I've done with a shed twice this size. Yeah, I might have to reposition some things in here to put another couple of cars up somewhere else. We just need a little bit of reconfiguration, which ain't going to be a problem, but that's my problem. That is my problem. Right, so let's take these off. Just body pads. Then these just come out. Now they were third hole down. So I don't want to go OTT with them. They just come off. See, the thing is, they you can see there that will bottom out there. So I need to come down, you know, for that to go like that, because this is the hole it's got to go on. It's actually got to sit lower. It can be done, but I've got to trim this. I don't necessarily need, because that's too low. And just cutting a little bit off that is going to do no difference, because it bottoms out. It probably just bottoms out as it hits that. If I trim the bottom off more, I don't think it's, no, it's not, because that it's got this lip on that. You see, that's what the body shell rests on, and that works perfectly. I just need to lower this by cutting that off there. Which is going to be easier said than done, but it will work. So I'm going to get what I need to get out my my Dremel and just cut you can go there, which can lower it a little bit, and I can then trim a bit off the end here, couldn't I? slightly trimmed and took those down a little notch. We'll see how they how much lower they are now when we put this on. It should lower it enough to make it adjustable, so if it's too low I can always come up. Not that's too tight yet, because the only problem is they do pivot, and that's got to go through the body shell, haven't they? So, well, kind of guide the other ones through. I know you can't see a lot of them, but there's not much I can do about that. Move the camera the other way, don't I? So that's not super tight. Now it does depend where these go, because they sort of line up with the holes, so I can effectively lower these or raise them. The front is staying as it is at the moment. Let's see what the back looks like. It's line it. I need to line it up. So it is lower. I think the front's not too bad, but what's on this side? It's not quite in the centre, and that misses. So that's the back where it needs to go. They're at the right height anyway. I think the front can be manually lowered, I think. In fact, it's got to sit a bit lower in there. So that sits perfect now. I think the front just wants to go down a hair. I don't know if there's enough adjustment, so take that off carefully. I now need to perhaps knit these up a little bit more. I mean, it doesn't have to have those pins through there for now. That doesn't mean it won't, because these go through just to hold them in there. Well, that one has gone in, so that's good. I mean, I haven't got these pads on there that I've now lost, which I have lost. There was 4 pads, I've only got 3. I'll put it there so I didn't lose it, and I've lost it. I mean, how ridiculous is that? It's got to be there somewhere. It doesn't matter what I put down, I always lose things. Anyway, let's go down 1 on these pins here. There's no reason for that to go missing. I'll put it there. It's right there. I'll put it right there. It can't be on the floor. Welcome to my world. Is it in there? It's there. Well, if that isn't it, that's not. I think that is it. It's creased. How did you get in that box? Can you see that? Can you actually see? So that's there, and that's there. So we now have lower ride height. We all like that. Even that's supposed to be a rally car, isn't it? But now I've got 2 things I need to do now. Find the rear spoiler. Heaven knows what that is. And then these tyres can be turned down. Not by a lot, because it's freaking messy. But I think just so they're square, and I'll probably measure them. Well, I will measure, not probably, I'll measure them and see how much I need to go down. But first, have I got a rear spoiler? Yes, I have, is the answer to that question. For some reason I bought this for something else. But I've got the original one that came with this shell, but why not use this? Two different types actually, so we've got that one, didn't add to in there, or that one which has got like lips on it. I don't know which one lip down actually, definitely not sure that one does. This one will look better. Fitting it to the shells is going to be won't be a quick 5-minute job. Mounting points, no they're not, the mounting points are totally different. So it depends which one you want to go for. I would say that one. There's no point asking you because this will be done by the time. It's got to be in the middle ones that look shit. I don't think that one looks, that one's. Does it go like that? No, it must go like that, surely. I don't know about that one. How does that one go on there? I don't know that. I'm not too keen on that one. Right. It needs to be mounted to two there, and then you've got to put like little holes in it. It shouldn't take long to fit. Maybe I'll do that. So let me come back to you when I've got this pinned up. Finally got that on. Took a bit longer than needed. It's not designed to go on this Bodyshell, but it can be moved forwards and backwards, and this can be tilted. The Bodyshell's lower. Maybe the body post could be trimmed a little bit there, look, so that they can look a bit more scale-like. But yeah, very good. Exhaust is sort of taped on a bit better now. So, what's next? I hear you cry. Just wondering, I wonder if the steering servo steers now. What do you think? And that's the sort of stance. It's a bit lower. Looks better, looks much better. This is, it will do. I don't know, maybe it looked better without a wing on it. I'm going to take it off. But yeah, I think it looks, it looks right. It looks right for what it is. Right. I think now I'm going to turn some of these tyres down. But not, I don't need to go too much. You see them? They're standard sort of size, but I suppose I can just skim them down a couple of mil. It makes such a mess though. Like this. Let's get everything out. If you're wondering how much rubber you take off, they're just under the camera there, so that's about 1.2 mil off each tyre. I think Schumacher or any of the hobby stores do like a little tray that the tyre sort of sits in. It sort of eliminates all this mess. It is quite messy. Right, I'll show you the car in a minute. Let me just clear up. There we have it. Probably looks no different. When it's sat down, it's a big old shell in it. This. I think the front's a little bit springy. These are quite decent shocks on there. I might just have a look at that. The rear spoiler, it's not made for this. I think what that should do is go right through the body or something, or maybe it's supposed to go upright. And they're the top, and the wings sort of up much higher, like a drift car or something. This is not my thing. There's some other bits I want to do. One of them is have a look at the motor, because I think it's like a triple turn. I don't think you can make out what that is even. You see that? Some triple turn thing. Pretty sure it's too hot for this 1060 hobby wing. I've got a feeling that the servo is going to be knackered, but I'm just sure that servo works. Should we check my servo tester? What do you reckon? This was Chinese, remember? Let's plug it in. So it is working. It's just super loud. I need to upgrade the steering servo link, because apparently that's where the servo is straight and it's not. So I usually trim that out, but it does work nevertheless. These shocks are too springy. They can go in towards the centre of the car, so that's what I might do now, because I don't know if you can see that, probably not, but if I push the front down, it just springs back up where the back sits, and it could be the oils come out of them, but I don't know. Let's try. Let's try moving these shocks in. What I've done, I've moved the shocks in at the top, taken the spacers out, just put a battery in it for now. If it's a LiPo, it'll be a lot lighter. That's just a normal. It's either a NiCad or it's a NiCad. So it's really old. It seems to sit a bit better. We'll do the next video, maybe the setup. Because if you look at the back, do you see that? The back wheels are sort of, I don't know, I'm not really pointing in any symmetrical direction. Especially you can see it there, look. I think this one's sort of pointing that way and this one's pointing the other way, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, that one's like positive camber, and that one's a bit straighter. I'll have to use my tools to do like a little setup video of this. It's lower at the back than the front. I suppose there is a bit more weight over the back. Yeah, I suppose just trimming these posts down and then doing like a little setup. Still debating about that motor. I might take it off and maybe skim the rotor, the armature, don't know. It's still got dust on from the last time I used it. I don't know when I last used this, it's bloody ages ago, but anyway, it's still, I know what you're thinking, TT01 is like so old. I mean, like Tamiya brought out those new cars, the Audi and a few Porsches, BMWs, a few others, and they're on this TT02 platform. I think bring it on. I mean, there's people that moan about it, but it's naturally, I mean, this is a TT01E, and it's such a platform where you can just keep adding stuff to it. So it sort of really opens up your RC hobby with hop-ups and add-ons and setup. There's not much that sort of competes with that. It's not going to be all-out speed. You know, I get it. But, yeah, you can't really go wrong. Let's get the body shell back on. Body post at the front. Maybe they don't need trim. The backs, maybe I'll leave them. You know, get a little bit at the front. I think the backs are fine. But yeah, it's good. We do a little setup for the next video. I think. Check it all. Maybe we'll check the motor. Get the radio links linked up to it. Pretty battery, isn't that now? It does seem a bit, I don't know, like it wants to be remeshed or something. Seems that does seem a bit, I don't know. It seems alright, I suppose. What do you think? Do you like it? Think of the wing. Better without it? Probably. It's sturdy enough. Although if it goes over, that's gone, isn't it? We'll get it out for another. Well, it's basically a speed run car, isn't it? That's why I built it. See, bring on the bloody warm weather. It's freezing. I think that'll do for now. We'll do a quick closing. Yeah. So before I go, let me know what you think. These cameras, at the moment, that camera looks okay. So the colours look quite vibrant. But there's been times when I've recorded on this camera and it looks shocking. I think maybe because the humidity is high. It's 82%. It's like 99% earlier on, so it's like very, very humid. Even though the heater's on, as you can see. That's been working fine at the moment now. It's been staying on. So one of these cans lasts probably all day. If I'm in it, well, not that I'm in here all day, but. And I can see the camera looks a little bit brighter, so even though they've got the same amount of lights on, which is a bit weird. So yeah, so we'll get this out for a speed run. I'm not sure when. Yeah, we'll get it out for a speed run once the weather sort of settles down and see how we go. The next video is going to be an adjustment video, so getting it all set up and it pointing in the right direction using the equipment I've got, scales, camber gauges, that kind of thing, ride height gauges, and we'll get it so it's as good as it can be. It's a bit of a close up of that wing, like you can see. I mean, it looks a bit Heath Robinson, doesn't it? But it perhaps could do with going a little bit further forward, which I can do. I'm not sure that's how it's supposed to fit. I think it's supposed to either go in for the body shell like that, so they're underneath, or fit in. Maybe they've meant to fit into a body shell. You have to cut this out somehow, but I don't know. It's way beyond my skill level. But yeah, well, we'll do a quick closing and then we'll go from there. Right, let's do a quick closing. Video's gone on for a bit longer than I anticipated. I have two things, right? This is completely random. One, although I'm a very techie person, the technology that I've got that I use on my YouTube channel is poor choices. Poor choices I keep making because I think I'm getting a good deal and I don't. Point one. Point two, I don't run a script. So you get a lot of what I'm thinking. That annoys me. To resolve, number one, buy better equipment. Number two, have a script. I still haven't got a script here, by the way. Anyway, on to the proper closing. I apologise it went on for a bit. That wasn't the plan. A TTO anything
01, 01E, 02, 02B, so on and so forth. They're done to death. And as I mentioned in the video, although the chassis are very basic, they're supposed to be. As a model kit that you can use as a radio control car, which is what they're designed for, those Tamiya scale body shells, that the ones they've just brought out, just to name a few, Porsche, there's my the Porsche, BMW, the Audi R8, which can be designed as a like touring car or GT car. What else have Tamiya done? Loads of others. I'm forgetting it off the top of my head. But there's the again. I've got to try and cut those out. But all the Tamiya body shells are very scale-like. So you don't have to keep buying chassis after chassis after chassis. You just have one of them. What one would I recommend? Well, any of them, to be honest. They're all fairly similar. The TT02 is perhaps what most people would probably use at club level. And that's the beauty of this chassis. You can literally buy one for not much more than £150, so $175. Build it up with your chosen body shell and take it racing. Now, like all racing, there are going to be rules and regulations. This particular chassis that you see on the video today and previous videos, I've just thrown hop-ups at it. They're not always Tamiya hop-ups. Yeah, racing. There are Tamiya hop-ups, aftermarket Chinese hop-ups. You can keep throwing stuff at it to make it presumably better. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. But this car was one of my first chassis that I got once I got over my hot shot. I got my hot shot that got me back into the hobby, and then I bought one of these. And I've had it since I've started. So the channel's been going for a few years. I've been into RC for quite a number of years again, my resurgence, and I just enjoy tinkering around. So what I thought I would do is revisit this iconic chassis. We are going to do another speed run. There's quite a lot of differences that I've done on the car since it last had a speed run. Without going through too much detail, there's an obvious body shell change, which may or may not be better. The shocks, I think, have been changed. I can't remember. Definitely the tyres. It was on rubber tyres before. These are foams. A different motor. It's got the same servo and the same ESC, and that's where the problem could lie. So whether I'll get another ESC that can take a bit more power, I don't know yet. But the next video will be me going through the setup for this chassis. Hopefully it won't be this long, with a bit of luck, because last time I did run this on a speed run, I didn't have all the setup tools as I've got now. I think I might have had a few. The car clearly wasn't all fully adjustable last time it was run either, so we can work together on. I can show you how to set things up and what I would do. I've got tracking, caster camber, setup station. I think the one I've got is for a buggy, so I'm not sure this will fit. We'll have to wait and see. We can use the same setup plate as what I do with my LMP12, so it's flat. We'll go through all the setup changes that I do. There is a bit of a question mark on the motor being like a triple turn something. I can't remember. I still haven't taken it out yet. And I'll always maintain that this car did drive better on a NIM than it did on a 2S. It's clearly something that I'm probably doing wrong. Whether or not the motor just can't cope with a 2S, it's unlikely. Or it's the ESC, which again, I believe that ESC, is it the 1060, can cope with 2S. So it's probably to do with something I can make better. So in the next video, we'll go through the findings of anything electrical and we can go from there. So I appreciate your time, appreciate you watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, or hit the notification bell to be notified of when more content like this is being released. Thank you for your time. Bye for now.